marketing.
Perfect. Well, hello everyone and welcome. My name is Brandon Charneco, product manager here at Followup CRM. Like Sarah mentioned, I'm usually behind the scenes, but now I'm in front today. And today we'll be talking about email marketing, specifically sending, tracking, and measuring marketing emails, all from a single platform. That platform, Followup CRM. So here's our agenda today. We'll be going through some info on email marketing, what it exactly is, and why our built-in module brings extra value to Followup CRM and its ecosystem. Then I'll actually get into a full walkthrough of email marketing in the system itself, followed by some tips and best practices and a Q&A at the end. So, what exactly is email marketing? For those who might not have dabbled in the past or who are curious onto what it is, email marketing is really just sending targeted emails to a group of contacts to share news, promote services, or stay on the top of the mind. Think of it as a digital newsletter or announcement that goes directly to the inboxes of the people you choose, not one email at a time, but hundreds or thousands at once with the ability to see who opened it, who engaged it. That means tracking what links were clicked, if they actually opened it or just kept it in there, if it bounced back, and others and some other metrics like that. Anything to add there, Sarah, since you're our marketing expert over here?
Yeah, I would say that we want to make sure that we address what's most important for our two different groups of people on this call today. So we've got those of you who might be using a different platform and are wondering how you can get even more out of Follow-Up CRM. And those of you who have not done email marketing before, maybe not with your current organization or at all. And like Brandon was saying, this is just the idea of what can you take from one off communication and kind of reach more people with? So instead of the legwork of one person having to run around and talk to everyone that you're trying to reach, is there a way that you can elevate your brand by having consistent messaging and make sure that you are casting a wider net?
Exactly. So why does it matter? And it really keeps you top of mind. You stay that top of mind, regularly reaching your contacts, which keeps your business front and center when they're ready to buy or refer from your business directly. It allows you to reach the right people. You can send it to specific groups, such as new leads, past customers, or in a certain region, and not just your entire database in order to actually just quantify that specific area and set your sights on that specific area. Gives you a professional appearance with branded, designed emails, which build credibility. And a well designed email says more about your business than a plain text message from Outlook. And it gives you knowledge on what's actually working. You can see exactly how many people have opened your email, like I mentioned, click your links, or see who ignored it entirely. And you use that data to improve. And then finally, it drives action. You can include calls to action within your emails, such as schedule a consultation, view our new services, claim this offer, with trackable buttons that tell you who actually responded. So people like to actually see that. Gives you a little bit more of that interpersonal communication than just a simple text or a newsletter or paper letter like that. So this is really for our newer users, but for somebody who has MailChimp or Constant Contact, why built-in email marketing over a third-party service such as MailChimp or Constant Contact? I'll keep this infographic here, but it really comes down to three key value props. There's no extra third-party tools, no extra subscriptions, no additional data syncing or exporting or re-importing them into MailChimp or Constant Contact. You won't also need another login or another thing for your sales rep to log in order for them to actually send marketing emails and track those engagements. It uses your existing contacts. So it's the same contact list you already may have within Followup. Um, Again, no need to resync anything. It just pulls directly from your system. And then again, tracking engagement on every single contact. Opens, clicks, bounces are visible right on the contact record, which I'll show you a little bit later. instead of sitting into another third-party app. The bottom line here is that the core use of email marketing, which is sending targeted emails to your contacts and tracking who engaged, and having that built right into a platform where the data already lives, eliminates a lot of headaches already. With that out of the way, next we'll talk about the 5 core areas of our email marketing module, which all connects and works together. You have your marketing emails, which you create, you send, and you track. You have your templates, which are reusable design layouts. You have your recipient targeting using your saved contact list views. You have your performance metrics, which are real-time analytics. And then finally, content level tracking, which you're able to see engagement per contact. I'm going to get into each one of these and show you them live. As I get to that, I'll stop right here if there's any questions or anything going on in the chat, Sarah.
Not at this time, but yes, please use that chat feature. Even if you feel like, I'm not sure he's going to get to this later, you can go ahead and put your question in there. And I got a sneak peek of what he's going to talk about today, so I can save those that I know we are almost about to answer, and other ones I will elevate for Brandon. But again, we just want to make sure that you are aware of this functionality, that you don't have to be going between multiple systems anymore, and hopefully it can make your life easier. So let's dive into those 5 core areas, Brandon.
Perfect. So this is our marketing dashboard, your marketing home base. You can see a little infographic here. This is like a good um, high-level overview of some emails that we've had sent out, how much total is sent, who it's from, et cetera, et cetera. I'm actually going to stop here and show you this live from here on. Go full screen there and jump right into Followup CRM. Right here, we have our main dashboard, but when the email marketing module is enabled for your account, you'll see a new button here at the top for marketing. We'll go ahead and click that, and it'll land us on the marketing dashboard page. Just a heads up, the data shown here is all for testing purposes, so it'll be a little skewed on the low end because we were testing the system out. And this would be the best one for me to show. So within the dashboard, we have a few different elements. From the top, we have our title, which is the email marketing screen. We have our status and date filters, which I'll get into more when we talk about metrics. But this will allow you to actually filter out everything within your table over down below. And on the right-hand side, we have our usage meter. We have different tiers for usage. So you can get as many or as little as you need for your business. And then right below that is our main action of the email marketing page, which is creating a new email. I'll get into that just in a little bit. Finally, down below, we have our table, which is searchable via the search bar, fully editable with how you'd like to view your metrics and data, which we have several different data points, which you can actually see here. And is paginated, so you have everything here just to be able to track as you would like. So more on this page a little bit more later, but now I'm going to actually just show you how we'll create an email marketing. So I'm going to go ahead and click the button. And here is our templates page, where you'll be able to view available templates, and you can pick your starting point. You can either browse all, which is the default view, search by category on the left, or search for an individual template by its name that you can see there on the bottom. Your team will also get a set of default templates. So we have 3 default templates right out of the box to get them started that are fully editable, or you can kind of just change the text around and give them just a little fluff for your own company and then send them out as is. I'll get into templates as well right after we go through this whole process. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and select one of these. Okay. So here is our email editor, split into 3 different sections with actions on the very top. I'll get into all of these once we finish the whole flow. And your email designer is on the bottom. I'm not going to explain this fully yet until I get to the template section, but you can do everything through here as well as through the templates area. We also have our configuration, and our settings for the email on the left. We're going to start here, and then a preview section right here at the top, which pretty much fills in as we move along. Okay, so here you'll select your recipients over in the send to area. Email marketing is built with volume in mind. So you target your recipients by selecting save contact list over in the contact section. And if you don't have contact lists created, it'll let you know and guide you to go ahead and do that. It'll just direct you right over to the contacts area, and you can start building your contacts section. In the dropdown, you'll see that each list has a contact count. So basically how many contacts are within each list. And I'm going to go ahead and select a few different ones, such as the residential leads, hot leads, and MQLs. You can see here at the top that I have 3 contacts lists selected with 62 total contacts. You also have this handy dandy don't send to section, which if you feel like some of these leads over here might not be the best to send to, you can go ahead and select those, and then they will deselect them or not send them to that. They won't send this email to those contacts. So next, we have our from and to sections. This is who the email would be sent on behalf of. I'm sure if you sent an email before, you usually send it on behalf of you. But for marketing purposes, you would want to send it to something that's more marketing material, maybe either like the CRO or CEO or a marketing at this agency or your own
Yeah,
agency
that's a
there.
great idea, Brandon. That sometimes you wouldn't, if you're the marketing person, if you're behind the scenes like me, not everybody, all the customers out there are familiar with you, but they are familiar or there's more authority built up with the head of your company. So this email would come from them. You would keep that in mind when writing your content, obviously trying to keep your brand's voice, but maybe have a special letter from that individual at the top or a note. So that is a really good option there. And then going back to the list, I love the idea of being able to select multiple and layer those. And then you even have the functionality, like Brandon said, to do exclusions. If you know, like, oh, this isn't going to be the right time for this person or this company to receive this message. You don't want to remove them from the list forever and always, but it's just a specific use case here.
Exactly. So you can select a specific user if you'd like. It defaults to your own user and email. So if you have a marketing rep within the system, you can go ahead and select them. If not, you can have it be sent on whomever you'd like. Marketing at, Carrington. I'll just put there. Same thing with the email address. You can have it sent on behalf of a user. It'll fill into your own user's email, or you can have it be sent on behalf of another user or a custom marketing email, such as, marketing at Carrington.com. Now, one note here is that the DNS, which is this highlighted portion right here that's past the @ symbol, it must be whitelisted or else it won't be able to send. This is how major mail companies combat phishing and spam attacks, which, as a note, our onboarding team will help you whitelist any email you choose to use if it hasn't been already.
Yeah, don't worry
Um,
about that if that's a foreign term to you. Our team
yeah.
has been trained on it and they can get you up to speed.
And then keep in mind here, there's a little infographic, but replies to this email that you're going to be sending will be sent back to this address. So it gives you that flexibility to have it sent back, or if you don't want to receive emails, it can be sent to like a do not reply at XYZ, and you won't ever get a phishing email back from somebody.
Yeah, and I love that option. I use that all the time when I send marketing emails because, again, you might want it to come from the president of your company, but they're not going to have time to answer all the replies. So then you might have the replies come to yourself or a support email address or an info or your front desk admin, that sort of thing.
Mhm. Exactly. All right. Next, we have our subject and preview text. If you've created an email in the past, I'm sure most of us have, a subject is the top line of text that a user will see, and a preview text that goes right below it is optional preview about what the email amount is. A good tip here is to have a shorter, mobile-friendly um, Subject, usually you want to keep it around 50 characters. So it's easy to see on mobile because many people these days are just using mobile rather than their own desktops. And then you want to have a more engaging preview text, and that'll actually display right below it, and it'll be longer and display at the top when they actually open up their email. So for this one, this will be our April newsletter. So I'm going to be like still thinking about that new bathroom because some of our significant others really do talk about our bathrooms a lot and how they want to upgrade them.
This is the hook to Brandon's point. This is the, if you've heard of like TLDR, too long, didn't
Mhm.
read, what's the takeaway? What's the most important thing? What's the sign on the door that's going to get them to walk into this email?
Exactly. All right, finally, we have our timing, our send timing, which we can either send it right now, which will send directly after confirming all of this and going through the preview, or you can have it delivered at the exact time you set, which allows you to schedule it in the future, essentially. So this is based on your computer's time zone. So I'm in EST, so it'll send in EST. But if you were, for example, in California, it'd be sent in PST. So I'm going to go ahead and send this out April 1st because this will be our April newsletter. And I'm going to generally aim for kind of mid-morning, which around 10:30 a.m. And you'll get a little preview text here that it'll send at exactly April 1st, 10:30 a.m. And you can see here a little infographic saying that. Okay. Now that we have our email finalized, we can do one final check of our email here, make sure everything looks up or looks good to go up here. Our send to list looks good. Don't send to these contacts from the email to subject line preview text. We have a couple actions here at the top. We have the ability to actually save a template in case we did any editing on this. Again, more on that a little after once we actually get to templates. But we can save this as a new template or update the existing template. We can save this as a draft, which a draft means we can go back to this later before we actually go ahead and send it or have it be scheduled to send. This is really good if you want some sign off on it internally, or if you just want to, you start it, but you're not sure yet, who this is going to, or you have your thing, you just have an idea. You can save it as a draft and always come back to it later. I'll show that as well once we're finished. And then something that we should all do before we send an actual version or send the actual email out to all of our contact list is to preview and test. Now we do have a web version preview that you can do here, which displays it in a bigger screen. I'll actually go ahead and click that now. It'll generate it and show it. But it places it in a much bigger screen, which, it still looks nice, but not really email friendly because an email is usually in a much smaller screen. Then we can also send a test email, which everyone should do before they go ahead and send out an email. This allows you to um, send it on behalf of yourself to any person you would like. This
And
can be
I'll
sent to
throw
any.
in right here, sometimes I just send it to myself ahead of time because seeing it outside of the follow up environment in your inbox, you might just have an idea about what you want to change to make it a little bit better. And then sometimes you'll catch your own mistakes. Like if you've spent a good while building this and you feel like your eyes are starting to cross, then I'll
Mhm.
forward it from my email address, from my email inbox to someone else in the company and be like, hey, does this all make sense? Is this clear? Is this what you were thinking we should say about this thing? So those are some really good options.
Correct. Yeah, you can send it to your personal email. You can send it to maybe a partner who will help you realize, hey, take a look at this. You can send it to yourself and then forward it, like Sarah said. But you always want to do that just in case because you're going to be sending this out to many people. So having that extra set of eyes or you just reviewing it and catching something, very important. I'm not going to go ahead and send the test email, but you're able to do that. You can also send it to individual contacts. Maybe you have a partner contact, you'll want them to review as well.
Yeah, like
And
if you were going to be partnering up with another contractor on something to send out a special promo, that's a really good use case of that, like someone outside of your organization. Hey,
exactly.
Brandon, I'm going to back up really quick and ask you a question about templates that we got over here in the Q&A section. So the question is, how does this compare to MailChimp? Are we able to customize with our own branding templates, or do we have to pay for Followup to do that on our behalf?
You can customize it as you see fit. It's really a blank canvas. We don't currently have any upload features to an upload in HTML, but you can customize it in any little point, which I'll show a little bit later, however you see fit. I'm going to
So
show,
if you have a template from another system, how do you bring that in, or is it a rebuild?
right now it is currently a rebuild. We're looking
Okay.
into HTML editing, and that is currently on our roadmap for the next version.
Okay, so that is good to know because I know we've been talking about that. We want to get that for you guys. So I'll kind of clarify my comment that I made earlier about that. Good to know. And then if you feel like you need additional support from Followup to build a template, what does that look like, Brandon?
Right now, this would be talking to your CS onboarding staff, and I believe they'll help you create your first major template. I'll actually go ahead and jump over it a little bit and show that we've done this a couple times with a couple of our clients who graciously allowed us to use some of their templates. Like we have a simple one here from our friends at Evans. And we also have another one that's a lot nicer looking in ways for from PB Roofings here. So really sky's the limit on how you want to do it. But these were built from scratch by our CS team and will definitely help you within that first couple templates. And these can also be copied, reused over and over again, and their content changed at will. So,
Great.
alrighty. So moving forward, now that we've got our complete email set and we've previewed it, we've sent us our test email. Gone ahead and go through it. I'm going to go ahead now and click review and send. Right now, it'll generate a preview of the email itself. It'll show us how many recipients. So here's the email right here, how it'll look. It'll show us how many recipients it's being sent to, when it'll send, either right now or in the future. So right now we have it set it for April 1st. And scrolling down, we'll see a full list of recipients for review, and some extra email details such as the from, the subject, which template was chosen. Right now it's only an ID, but we'll enhance that later. The subject, who it's from, et cetera, et cetera. And then um, you'll see the usage meter at the bottom. This will let you know how many remaining emails your account has until it's all used up, and will give you a helpful overage warning if you're close or if it will go over. So right now we have, 4,984 in this account. After sending this email, it's smart enough to tell us we'll still have this many left. And if it was ever to go over or close to being over, it'll give us some warnings, let us know, hey, this amount of emails won't get sent, but we'll still send these emails to um, the recipients. So if you have basically 100 left and you have 150, it'll send that email to 100. So the system is smart enough to send as many possible before failing the rest. But if you wanted to, you can always cancel, choose a different list, or add a few more to the do not send, and then you'll be able to schedule an email back after that. Um, the email overage or the email usage resets every single month on the first of the month, and you're able to get more usage. At that point, you would have to talk to your CS, but you're able to get more if you need to. So that's pretty much it at that point. I'm going to go ahead and schedule this email. And I know that was a lot so far, so we'll take a short minute and go back for any questions that we have.
Yes, if anybody wants to see inside of the system a little bit more, this is your time. We are working on getting different articles out on the knowledge base, and we can share those with you guys after this. But right now is when you have Brandon in the driver's seat, and you can be the navigator, tell him to click around to different areas, and you can get a better idea of what it's going to look like for you.
Yeah. Next, we'll get into
Okay,
templates. So a little more on templates afterwards. So.
great. Can you show how this gets into a sequence?
So we currently do not have sequencing. That's again another um, Another future enhancement. Right now, we're focusing on the core aspect of email marketing, which is just get the emails out, a single email out, and get the usage tracking on that. We do have automations and sequencing and all those extra enhancements that I know MailChimp and Constant Contact currently do have in the future on our roadmap.
And I have a workaround for this as well. So, what Brandon said is that this is for one off email sends right now. But what you
Mhm.
could do is from that one off email send, he's going to show you inside of the analytics in a minute. So, you can go in and identify who opened the email, and you could create a new list of just those who opened. If you're like, these are our strongest leads, and then use that list for a secondary email. So that's another way to think about sequencing in a way that will give you a little more insight.
Mhm.
All right, let's jump back in, Brandon.
Alrighty, so I'm going to click the create new email again, and we're back at the templates menu. I didn't really delve too much on template building, but you have a lot that you can do here. Somebody asked it before, but you can either start with a blank slate completely, which is like a new email template. You can start by creating a copy of another template, which again, we do have 3 default templates. You can also preview a template or just select the template, which I kind of showed before, or you can edit a template directly from scratch. Uh, just for extra knowledge, templates are just really reusable starting points. So as long as you have one really good one, you can always use it. You can build it once and kind of use it many times. I'm going to go ahead and just select this one to edit, just so we have something to start from. And at the
And we
top
are
here,
getting some question about how easy it is to build an email template. So I'm excited for you to show this. We try to make the user experience here as straightforward and simple as possible. So he's going to show you how these little tiles on the right side are basically your building blocks, and you can just drag and drop them in.
correct. Yeah.
And I think it's all going to start clicking as people see the visual in front of them right now.
Yes. So every template starts with a name. Every template needs a name, so that's mandatory. And we also have categories for templates. So once you actually start building multiple templates, you can put them into categories. You just basically type in a new category if you don't see it on the list and aren't able to select it. But to the meat and potatoes here, our template builder. Our template builder separated into 2 rows. We have uh, the actual template itself on the left, and then we have all of our elements and configurations, etc., on the right. Um, every email is built from scratch with rows and the containers inside of it. So every row has its own different configurations. You can change the colors on all the rows. You can change the background color. You can change so many different things on each little area within it. If you wanted to add in some new content to it, you can either start with an existing row and kind of just drag stuff in, or I'll start from a new row itself and kind of drag in a row right over here. So for example, we can drag in this row here, and maybe I want to put some social media tags in here, right? So I can just go ahead, grab the social tag and put it in there. And then I can actually grab like a title. I can say, something along the lines of find us at, and then just something simple right there, and change all of the properties of this little area right here. Each area can be selected in, each area can be changed. Every little thing can actually be be edited. So I can add URLs to buttons. I can add URLs to each one of these individual social cues over here. You can add in more. You can add in any images and actually have those be links. You can apply effects to those. The sky is really the limit here with what you can do. And really, like I mentioned before, if you build it once, you can kind of reuse, especially if you have branding for your templates. And then these templates right here have several little elements you can also copy into other things too. Each email is also has a mobile option too. All the elements are mobile friendly, and if you can actually see how they look in mobile versus how they look in desktop. And if anything looks weird, you can also change how they look there.
And
And
so
as
again, we wanted to give you guys the capability to do what you need. And you from there can make it as customized as you want. You can leave it on the super simple side, or you can get a bit fancier and add in all of these different elements to your liking.
Correct. Yeah. And as I mentioned before, our CS team, I know this is a little much for some users to do. So our CS team will help guide you through it. But if you have that kind of Photoshop knowledge, or if you have that kind of Adobe knowledge, or have done some stuff like this in the past, it's really simple and intuitive to use. As I mentioned here, these were kind of given to us from some of our gracious clients, and we have rebuilt them from scratch. From our friends at Evans and PB Roofing. And you can do honestly the same things. It's all really just rows and the content itself. Pretty much just dragging in,
Yeah.
setting it to the right area, and determining, the URLs, determining this and that. And yeah,
And to expand on that, so what they did is just forward us one of their email marketing newsletters, or they took a screenshot and then their CS manager was able to go in here and recreate it for them. So you don't have to necessarily give us access to your MailChimp account or anything like that. It can be a simple forward over and get you as close as possible to your existing template. Or if you want to reimagine it, you can have that conversation as well.
exactly. Okay. Any other questions on templates? Alrighty. I'm gonna head over to back to the main page. And next we'll be talking about statuses and metrics. Okay. So statuses, marketing emails, are all tracked through different statuses listed here. We got draft, scheduled, sending, sent, and failed. Every campaign moves through these stages. So you'll always know, and you can see that right here on the screen, it's color coded, where things stand. Then we have metrics on sent emails, which I have a couple here that I have sent. Again, this is testing data, so it's on the low end, but every interaction is tracked automatically. You don't need to do anything. The data just flows in as people open and click the emails. You have different rates here: reply rate, bounce rate, click-through rate. Understanding these rates helps you improve over time. A low open rate might mean your subject line needs work, and a low click rate might mean your content needs attention. As I mentioned before, there's a lot of customization here that you can do. So you can just choose which rates really make the most impact for you, depending on your business. But we also have um, our status. Oops, click the wrong button. We actually have our details page. So the details have some high level metrics here, really at the top. So some of the more important metrics, just like sent, delivered, opens, click rate, and bounce, whether or not how many of them bounce. And below the metrics, you can review all those details and see exactly what was sent as well. So the same details as really the review page, but just letting you know that, hey, this is exactly what was sent. And finally, at the bottom, this is where it gets really powerful. You can see every single recipient, every single status for that recipient, and exactly where they engaged. So for example, we sent this over to Rose. Rose actually went ahead and clicked this. It was sent at this time. It was delivered at this time, and she actually opened it pretty much when she got it. So she got a little ding on her phone, opened it, and then opened the email and actually clicked on it within that same minute. You can see all of those metrics right down to the individual minute there. And
Okay,
the best
Brandon,
part
we've
about
got
this
a good
is,
question about this.
yes,
Does the analytics mechanism track individual clicks on specific links within the email?
I believe it does, but I need to just verify. I just need to verify that, but I'm pretty sure it does. I don't
So
have the full
scroll
answer
up,
on that right
Brandon.
now. So, for example, I understand what you're trying to say here. If there was like multiple buttons, you'd see button one, button two, each one of those clicks. I'm pretty sure it does. I'm just not 100% sure where that's displayed yet, and that might be an enhancement that I have to look into. So, good comment there, and I'll actually note that down. Okay.
And
Any
I'll
other
give
questions?
another tip for email marketing as well. Sometimes you're including multiple educational resources, but usually you want to stick to one CTA, one call to action, right? When people have too many choices, they get lost and they're likely to do nothing at all. So I would say if you're going to use the button module that we talked about earlier, make it super clear what you want people to do with the copy on that button. And then don't do like four different buttons. Maybe you have a button in the middle of the email and the exact same one at the bottom, or you just do one at the bottom that tells people what you want them to do, what the best next step for them is.
Mhm. Yeah, and one extra little thing here is this list down here, the recipients. You can actually filter this by status, and I think Sarah mentioned this earlier. You can track exactly how many of these bounced, how many of these were actually opened, how many of these were actually delivered, or if they failed or clicked in, and you can actually use those to nurture your contacts as well, because you'll see who engaged, which of these contacts have maybe an email that just doesn't exist anymore, and kind of uh, fix your contact list based on that, or maybe um, get rid of the ones that have bounced, track the engagement on the ones that have, and maybe follow up a little bit more on the ones who are more engaging, you know.
Yeah. And if you have, let's say the end of the month is coming and you know you only have 500 more you can send to, look at who bounced at the beginning of the month and go ahead
Mhm.
and remove those, whatever, let's say 20 people. Hopefully it's not that high, but that way you're not wasting your sends.
Exactly. Okay, finally, the little piece de la resistance here is the fact that within a contact, and you can see there that I just clicked right into the contact, each of these are clickable. So it's linked to your contacts directly within your database within Followup CRM and brings you right to the contact page. Every contact now has a marketing tab. And within that marketing tab, this is one of the biggest advantages over standalone email tools. Right within the record, you can see every marketing email they received and how they specifically engaged, along with the statuses and indicators for each. So you can see when they were clicked, if they bounced, like I mentioned, if it was opened and not clicked. You can track every single one of those that you've sent to this specific marketing, this specific contact. And a little tip for those. A little tip here for if before you call a lead or schedule a follow-up, it's really nice to actually go ahead and check this tab. And if they open an email quite recently, it would be a great time to actually reach out to this contact, and you may have something extra to talk about too.
Yeah, even if they didn't open, but let's say you're going to do a, hey, wasn't sure if you saw our email that went out yesterday about our upcoming appreciation happy hour, but wanted to make sure I personally invited you. Again, you just have talking points and it shows your organization at a different level of professionalism.
Exactly. So before we head back to our presentation and get into a little bit more tips and the Q&A, one little last cool thing to show is that directly from your contact list, if you have the email marketing module enabled, you can go ahead and click down on the drop down arrow for your contacts and click that email marketing button right there. And what this will do is it'll automatically just pre-populate that entire list into the marketing email and the template that you select. So it just eliminates that right there, that extra step just to be able to do that. So if you know that, hey, I need to send out this new marketing email directly from the contacts, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm going to go back now to our webinar and get into a couple little tips before we get into questionings.
Yes, so this is a great place just to put together some of those nuggets that Brandon shared throughout his demo. He talked about always send a test email before the real send. Again, I have been in the position before earlier on in my career where even like my subject line, I just missed one letter and it completely changes the meaning, right? So be sure to send a test to yourself, get another set of eyes on it. It will save you some cringy moments. And then using that preview text is great. People are so suspicious now about what they're receiving or who it's coming from. If you can make it a little more human, give them an idea before they click to open, your email is going to perform better. And then while you do have 255 characters you can use within a subject line, we don't recommend that. Kind of industry
Mhm.
standards is to keep it shorter, under that 50 characters. This makes it super easy for somebody on their phone. Think about how big that screen is there. And then think about, again, the human experience. Monday, people are like overwhelmed with a mountain they have to climb for the whole week. Friday, some people are already checked out. So sending midweek, think Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're going to get better engagement and you can plan ahead for those. And then mid morning is also going to work well, where people don't feel like, obviously a robot sent it to me. If it came in at midnight, they weren't being considerate of the fact that I was sleeping. Or if it's the end of the day, people are on that war path to get things done. So let's do it a little bit before lunch, like that 10:30 slot. And then clean up your list on a regular basis. You're able to see if any of them bounced, and that'll save you some of your sins. And then also using the contact marketing tab before any of your sales calls so you can easily train your team on how to do this, just so they're fully in the loop on what the customer has been hearing from you and you're presenting more of a united front.
Perfect. All right. So now we'll get into some QA. So please shoot those messages out. We do have some common questions here that I do have answered as well. Sarah, if you would like to read those, and then yeah, we can get into just
Yeah,
some fun
so let
questions.
me give you some real questions that we're receiving in the moment, and then we can go back to the common questions if anybody wants to hone in on those. We just tried to pre-answer these for you guys to be as
Mhm.
efficient as possible. But when it comes to how we were talking about the CTA earlier and linking out, another question is, can you, oh, so many are rolling in, it's rolling away from me. Are you able to embed a link within an image or within the text? Or
Yes.
are you
Yeah.
only able to embed? Perfect. So it's the same thing. Like on a MacBook, it's a Command K, you're hyperlinking out. That's another good practice for email marketing is anytime you have an image, make sure it's linked as well because people like to click on those. Okay, another question we have here. Are you able to customize the name of the recipient in the email send?
No, you are not. It sends to the contact list. So it would have to be based on the contact entity itself. So you would have to modify the contact's name if you want it to display as a different name.
Okay, and I'll give some more context on this. In some platforms, you can write hi and then put in like brackets,
Mhm.
subject name, and the system will fill that into you. Is that a capability we have at this time or not yet?
Not yet, but that again is on
Okay.
our roadmap.
Okay. We're having questions around, is this part of everyone's follow-up CRM plan or access, or is this an add-on?
This is currently an add-on. You can contact your CS member for more, but yes, it's an add-on, and we can turn it on relatively
Yes.
quickly with some setup. But yes, please contact your CS member, and yeah, they'll guide you through all the steps.
And to get into that a little bit more, we as follow up have to pay for these sends. So again, we're like transferring the cost on top of your monthly plan with follow up CRM. And bring me back to that in just a minute, Brandon, because I did get approval for a special use case for everyone who attended this webinar. Another question that we have in the chat though is, do we have survey features?
No, not currently. So we don't have a survey feature currently, no.
Okay, so people couldn't click buttons and necessarily respond, but you could make that a link in your email if you have like a survey built out on your website, a form there for people to fill out, or you can have them reply to that address and you would just be manually collecting them like that.
Correct.
So, I think you guys are pretty smart. You can read these common questions. What I wanted to share today is that we announced back at our user conference that we were rolling out email marketing. And we heard some people have apprehension around like moving off of MailChimp or their existing platform. And there's a lot of questions, of course, about pricing. And I understand you all have to make a business case to your leadership. So, what we're doing right now is if you are on another email platform, but you are serious about consolidating your tools, you can talk to your CSM and like send us a screenshot of your bill. And we're trying to match those right now. And the more that we have go into our email marketing tool, that is even more reason for Brandon's team to start building out all these extra features so that they can serve you better. So we will price match for those of you who are willing to connect with your CSM and send over more information about what you're paying elsewhere. Nope, it's just a conversation. You don't need a promo code for that. That's been communicated across our team so people know to honor it. Do we have any more questions? There was a lot of meat in this. Again,
Hmm.
we didn't want it to feel like Sarah from marketing is just telling you, ooh, we have this new thing. I wanted you to actually see it and experience it for yourself and be able to ask your specific use cases, all of those good things. Okay, so we talked about earlier, you can track how many you have sent to, you can up your quota if needed to send out. Maybe you have a really heavy month. And then we also said that if you have different team members that maybe you do or don't want to access this, you can change their permissions based on their roles. You can see how people are engaging with your emails. And then we're taking care of the deduping for you automatically. So you don't have to worry about hitting somebody multiple times. Scheduling an email is a great option around your own calendar. Okay, here's another question we have. Okay, I'm trying to decipher this one. If we spend more money than we pay for with our plan, but not as much that's required for the next plan up, will it be prorated? I think that's a great question for your CSM. That's probably a per
Mm.
case question. Yes, great. Because they know about your account. I want to make sure they give you the most straightforward answer. And again, thinking about email marketing, I had some examples that were coming to my mind. If you're going to open a new office or you're going into a new territory, we have some clients that are like, hey, we're in Oklahoma and Texas right now. We're going to expand to Louisiana next month. You might want to tell your existing customers of that. That's a way to win new business and be considered for new bidding opportunities. I talked about like an appreciation event, maybe a holiday party that you guys are hosting. If you're doing a ribbon cutting or a happy hour, there's definitely a way to send out monthly communication. That would be a great template example so that you're not spending a lot of brain space or time on the design, but you maybe are linking out to your blog or to a YouTube video that you guys created. And then if you have something special going on, like a deal or a promo or a partnership, this is good for seasonal sends. If you're going to say, hey, we are doing a free HVAC checkup in the spring or before winter hits, let's check the roofs on all of your buildings. And then you can send out tips and best practices as well to establish yourself as an industry expert. So you might say, here are three things to do to winterproof your office building or your manufacturing facility. So, those are just some ideas. There's so much that you could do with this. Brandon, thank you for all the work that your team has been doing behind the scenes, and then especially for coming here and talking to everyone today.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me show this off. And I'm excited to see what it brings and what it can look like in the future. So,
Absolutely. And If you don't know, we are always available inside of Followup CRM as well. You get that circle that says help in the bottom corner of your screen when you're logged in. You can start a chat there with our support team. You can also access our knowledge base. Like I said, we've put out a couple of articles that also include video recordings of how you would use the email marketing tool. We're always trying to improve your experience. Thank you for being such loyal customers. And we look forward to seeing you on our next webinar. We usually do these the third Thursday of the month.
Cool.
Okay, bye everyone.
Thank you guys.